This program is rated TV PG. Some parental guidance for younger viewers is suggested.
We would like to announce two new members of the Raw and Redeemed production staff, Mr. Rupert Valentine Sr. and Pastor Mary Valentine. They have joined as the show executive pastoral staff. They'll be praying for anyone submitting a prayer request to the group or live feeds and appearing on the show from time to time. I want to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
I trust me, I'm going to leave a legacy. I'm not leaving behind all the bad things I did. I'm working to repair. The relationships that I so badly broke. I want to leave a legacy as far as we are forgetting about the youth. We need to start more working on aspects of bringing the youth together and bringing them back to Christ, which brings me to my next question. What, I kind of follow you to, I know I missed your youth program last Saturday.
Oh, at the mall, yeah.
Last Saturday. Tell us about that youth program.
So at the Lincoln Mall, myself and Tamara Roach, we hosted a kids market. You know, it was catered. It was built around kids in Freeport that create crafts and painting and make bracelets or whatever the kids create. And we decided to do that to give the kids new customers, to put the kids in front of new people to showcase what they sold, to get the kids some money in their pockets and teach them those lifelong lessons. And the lesson I really wanted the kids to learn was what it's like to hear somebody say no. Mm-hmm. Right? Because as a kid, you get told yes all the time. When you get told no, you kind of give up and you kind of go in your corner. You got to learn that what you sell, not everybody is going to want, no matter how cute you are. Not everybody is going to want it. And a great example was when you first walked in the event. The first kid on the left selling something, nobody really knew what she was selling. And the first 2 hours, she sold nothing. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking around, just checking on them, seeing how they're doing. She started to get sad. And then she sold something. She was still a little down, but got happy. And then when she sold that one dragon puppet, and the kids started realizing what it was, then she sold out in the next 2 hours. She was just beaming with joy, just so happy, just sold everything out.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all about the kids being our future and timing.
That's true. It's all about timing and being patient.
Being patient, right?
Being patient, right. Because if they did not know what it was, once they realized what it was, it was something that was wanted.
Yes,
and
it was.
It sold out fast, and and more likely, if she keeps on, start online business.
Yeah,
those they coming in pretty handy. So, okay, with Raw and Redeemed, we strive on bridging the gap in the communities while teaching the Word of God, and we focus more towards the youth. As I said before, we try to bring the youth back.
Right.
Inside the church house. And we try to we want to give them motivation, encouragement, and drive to understand that there is ways to grow even if you're poverty stricken.
Yeah.
So my next question to you is, what are some challenges that you feel the youth? Let's just use Freeport for now. The youth in Freeport. What are some of the disadvantages of the programs that we're offering to the youth, and what are some of the advantages to the programs that you offer for the youth here in Freeport?
So the disadvantages, I really don't think there's any. The Boys and Girls Club does a great job. Amity's Attic, well not Amity's Daycare does a great job. The Girl Scouts do a great job. It's not the programs, it's the awareness of the programs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the parents, wanting to get involved more, right? I've lived in several different cities, and Freeport is a resource-rich community.
It is. It
there's
really
resources at every turn.
It really is.
And at the same time, there's not a lot of people taking advantage. There's people complaining, but not taking advantage of the resources.
That's right.
Right? So we have all this stuff here in Freeport, but a select few take advantage of the resources. And that kind of strains and holds the children back.
Yeah. So what are some ways that we can bring awareness to the communities?
To bring awareness, go on Facebook and search AOK, All Our Kids Network, with Pam Williams. Search the Girl Scouts, search High Hope Freeport, search Amity Daycare, search Push, search the Men of Change. There's so many resources here. Search the Norman J. McLaughlin Foundation. There's so many resources here that a lot of people don't advertise enough, and I think they kind of fall back because not a lot of people are gravitating towards them. But you have to keep going. In my opinion, if you change the life of one person, that's awesome.
That's true. So true.
When we have these High Hope Freeport events, not a lot of people show up. But if one person shows up, that's a success.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That is a huge success. And, for High Hope Freeport, what Will does, he has a mentorship program that starts with fourth graders.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I have a mentorship program that we're creating, that we're going to branch off of. I meet a mentee in the library on Mondays at 3 p.m. And we go over a business development plan and the business discipline plan to teach him, the future, right? So the resources are here, but we can't force you to come out.
That's right.
I can't make your parents come out. I can ask, I can suggest, but you have to do the work.
True.
Right?
That's true. And with that being said, we are coming up on spring break. We're going to be coming up on summer vacation. What are some ideas or programs that we can try to start, or something to do with the youth over the summer break? Because, some of these kids, the only meal they get is
right,
the lunch and the breakfast at school.
And they're cutting that back.
Yeah, and they're cutting that back. They cutting that back very hard. So, the question is, what are some ways that we can provide for the poverty-stricken families?
So, starting June 12th, we're having our 40 Days of Peace. This is the second annual one. This will be where my the first year I'm going to do it full time. I'm just coming into High Hope Freeport, and on starting June 12th, and every other week is the 40 days of peace.
Yeah.
And we pick 6 high impact locations. The first day, we clean up at the event site. The second day is a resource block party.
Yeah.
The resource block party is where a lot of nonprofits come out and they bring their resources to the community.
Yeah.
And during that, we cook on the grill. We give away free food. We give away free water and free juice. And then people in the community who have a food drive that day or who have leftover food, they bring boxes of food.
Yeah.
And we give the food away.
Yeah. I was there last year. Last year I was there when they did the one at the Hosner.
Yeah.
Hosner. I was there.
Yeah.
I was there for that. I was there part time because I had another event that we had going on at our church. So, but I did make it to that event, and it turned out pretty well. I was there for the setup. I came out and I took pictures.
Yeah.
And came back towards the end. I did get a good old plate though. Whoever cooked them baked beans, Lord have mercy, I ain't never gonna forget them baked beans. Them baked beans was good. I had me a nice old burger. All that food though left over there, that thing. I sat on that little brick over there. I'm recording the show. It's reminiscing.
Right.
I sat there and I had me a nice little plate with some tater salad and some burger. It was still hot. I had some ketchup and mustard on it with the baked bean. I had a plate full of baked. I said, Lord, is my mama here? But like I said, I will support that. I will be there for that. And my next question to you is, what are some ways we talk about bringing the youth back into the house of God and just, trying to give them motivation and become a mentor to them? My next question is, how can we bring back the teenagers, the young adults that are slipping away faster than normal? I don't want to leave them out, because they will be becoming men and women really, really, really fast. So what are some ways that we can bring them back, avenues that we can take to get their attention?
To bring the youth back, to start with the root cause, in my opinion, we have to work with the parents, right? Because it starts in the home, right? If you're a youth and I'm mentoring you, and I meet with you for an hour a week, that's it, right? When you leave and you go home, if the conversation that me and you have isn't happening in the home,
it didn't work.
It didn't work.
It's so true.
It's not going to stay around that long, right? So we got to start with the parents. We got to get the parents to get involved.
And I'm glad you said that, because what are some ways that we can get parents involved? Because let me start here.
Yeah.
It starts at home.
Yeah.
And with us as people mentoring the youth, we still have to remember that most of these children come from a one-parent household.
Yeah.
Some of them are even coming off of parents that did a 20 to 25, 30-year bid.
Yeah.
And they don't know these parents, and they don't know how to adapt to their parents. So some of them come from DCFS custody.
Yeah.
What are some ways that we can become a mentor to the parents, to bring the parents and the children out?
Right.
What are some ways that we can actually with the parents?
So something we're working on for High Hope Freeport is we're trying to start this program, and during the program we're gonna have community nights to where the parents can come out and see what the children are learning, and the parents are invited to every event. But again, we can't make you come. But if you come, you can learn what your children are learning. And what they're learning is going to be lifelong lessons that, as the parent, can use too to elevate you, right? So as we try to reach the children, we got to reach the parents too, so they have the same conversation and speak the same language. Mm-hmm. And the Men of Change just became a legal 501c3 a couple of days ago. Mm-hmm. They're already hitting the road running. They're doing great things. Mm-hmm. You know, there's resources here. It's that the people have to want them, mm-hmm. right? We can't force nobody to do anything. I wish I could force people to do stuff like my sister. I wish I could make her change, but you have to want to do it.
You know, most people want change. They want to change. We want them to change, but we have to wait till they're ready. It's not going to work if we force them to change and they try to live through our eyes.
Right. You can't force it.
They can't live through what we want them to be or what we want them to look like. They have to want it for themselves. So let me ask you, Mr. Brooks.
Yeah.
Did you always want to own your own business? Like, did you have a lemonade stand per se when you was a kid? You know. Well, you know, I know you old school. You in between there with us, so. We had candy stores and we sold icy cups. Well, you had a lemonade stand probably too, but that was for, let me be quiet. Fix it, Jesus.
So I wanted my own business after I lost my only stream of income. Because I realized that relying on one stream of income, and as I kept climbing the ladder, making more money, people had extra streams of income. And they would always tell me, man, you know, the amount of money you make, you should start this and start that. I'm like, man, I'm fine, you know, I'll be making this money forever. Well, forever lasts until it doesn't last.
Thank you.
So knowing that nothing is guaranteed. You can work every day, bleed, sweat, eat, cry, work. It doesn't mean you'll have that job forever.
That's true.
Right? You gotta have several streams of income.
Mm-hmm. And you know, let me ask you this. Well, let me say this. Most people, we start these programs to mentor the kids and try to appeal to the family. But I came from that before, and I know a couple of programs I quit going to because I understand the basics, you know, the email addresses and the resume writings and teaching you how to dress for an interview. At the end of the day, I love the class. I would love to repeat the class, but there was no money coming in. And it's hard because as much as you want to get to this program, sometimes the transportation is not there.
Yeah.
And then you gotta realize I got to feed my family. What are some ways that we can help the community with those kind of resources as they join the classes? You know.
So, you know, Frankie McGee and your cab service, right?
Yeah.
Very affordable. And, you know, it's earth. Everything costs money.
Yeah.
Right? So it comes down to a lot of people think they have a money problem, when in reality, they have a spending problem. Right? And I know that because I was the same way. And you see it. Well, I can't afford that. Well, you also buy a $20 bag of weed every day, blunts, alcohol, the brand new iPhone, the Jordans, right?
That is so true.
You have the money, but you have a spending problem, right? So if you live on Earth, it costs money, right? But it's all about how you spend your money. If you really want to go, you'll find a way, right? McDonald's costs you $15.
Yeah.
Quit going to McDonald's. But it's the American consumerism to where we've evolved to wanting to buy and status shop. And when you add something to your cart and you hit submit, it feeds your ego. Like, you're happy, but at the same time you're drained because now you're broke.
And now that goes into my next question. How does that fit in with Kingdom Finance?
Right. So,
well, let me rephrase that. Knowing that that's an issue, I've seen that in my community, in my family. I've seen that.
I used to do
I've seen a family member and friends that I get a couple of dollars and they got 6 kids and all 6 of them got on a pair of Jordans.
Yeah.
And then they buy the pair of Timberlands.
Yeah.
And then they want to buy I'm saying all these names. They want to buy the expensive shoes, expensive boots, and they want to buy the expensive clothes and run over to the people and get the braids done for $200-$300.
Right.
And then the next couple of weeks later, they sitting around
miserable,
trying to borrow $20 or they need a ride here or can they get a cigarette or whatever the issue may be. Because they were more worried about the worldly things.
Yeah. Status
than trying to save and worry about the godly things. So I want to know, in your aspect, how does spending fits in with the Kingdom Finance?
So you got to stop living for the day. Stop living for Friday, right? We're all going to die at some point in time. But if you
don't be wishing death on me. I ain't going nowhere no time. So.
I'm not saying tomorrow, right? But we're all born to die, right?
No, I ain't ready yet.
So, spend like you're going to live until you're 90. But if you spend like you're going to die tomorrow, then you're going to waste all your money, right?
True.
And we spend our money trying to look rich. And every dollar we spend trying to look rich, it brings us further away from being rich. Right?
I look link rich. I'm trying to tell you right now. The only way I look rich is link rich. You open my refrigerator, you go swear up and down that my refrigerator is fit for a king.
No, I'm just talking about
I know what you said.
The expensive shoes, right? So the billionaires, right? The billionaires can buy everything they want. You see them in sweatpants, no jewelry.
Yeah.
But the guy who's making $30,000 a year, he has a $20,000 car, the brand new iPhone. The jewelry, because we're trying to look rich.
Yeah.
We're trying to impress people who aren't even watching us.
That's why I learned to live within my means.
Yeah.
I got a cheap pair of shoes. I got a G phone. I do my own. I cut my own hair.
We can tell.
Hey, the only thing expensive on me is the stuff that the insurance pay for. Other than that, I make it look good because I got a little store, GW. Y'all know what it is. Big up the GW. They make me look good. SA, they make me look good. I just go in there and I spend my time go shopping with the little cart. And sometimes I got to get the blue tag, or sometimes I got to get a yellow tag. Either way it go, I ain't spend no money. But the most money I spend goes into the collection plate on Sundays and Tuesdays. Shout out to Faith Center Report. Sorry, Apostle, I can't put nothing in this Sunday.
She is now the deputy fire marshal or deputy fire chief, right? So it's just about community building, right? Go talk to the first responders, right? So I told them, our 40 days of peace is starting in June. And I told her that a couple weeks ago, and she already has it on their calendar. And when I was there, I told her, if the fire department does an event, we'll come out and support, right? You got to be able to support each other. You can't be in a community and not know what the next person is doing. Because you're gonna create I can't think of it. But you're not going to create a bond that way, right? If you don't know what the next person is doing, you're going to create an enemy. Yeah. You got to create a bond. What is Terrance doing?
Yeah.
What is DJ Life doing? If it's the same day, man, let's do it together. Let's stop making the people choose. We're not a corporation. We're a community.
DJ Life's my friend now. I looked in the bag and I saw one of them good honey buns. I ain't gonna say the name on it, but I saw that on TV. I didn't even know that type of people made them honey buns. I say, Lord, look at this. But anyway, I didn't come from that type of community, Vince. I came from a community where everybody knew each other, and the elderly practically raised the kids that was in your household.
Yeah, but the elderly are gone now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they're gone now. And and then the community has changed. The families are gone. There's new people that's coming in, they renting and moving in and doing this. How do we get them to become more neighborly? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah,
neighborly. How can we get them to become more neighborly? What actions can we take? Do we go door to door and actually support this program, or do we just jump out and try to start a program on our own in hopes that the neighbors join?
I would say you jump out and start, and then once you start, then you'll figure out what to do next. Mm-hmm. And hoping is not something good to do, because we all hope to hit the lottery. But the only person who hits the lottery is that one person in California who bought their ticket from the liquor store, right?
No, that's the old ladies traveling.
So
that's the old couple traveling back home.
Hope in business is not always good.
It is. It's not.
Right? You start and then you plan.
I'm glad you said that. Why is it? That's what gets my goat. See what you did, DJ Life. Why is it that I want to win the lottery?
Go to California.
No, it can't. It wasn't even in California. It be them the old couples. They be riding back from wherever they went. They went to visit. They went to the apple orchard, wherever they went to. And they stop at the gas station,
right?
And they buy a water and
they buy
a piece of candy and some gas. And it's $1 or $2 left. They be like, oh, just let me try 2 of those tickets.
All right.
And it'd be that ticket that got $10 million on it. And I done been to spend $50 over here and bought all these tickets. And it's always in downstate Illinois. Why we can't buy no $10 million ticket up here in northern Illinois? See, that's what gets my goat. But anyway, you have been tuned in to this episode of Raw and Redeemed. Again, I am your host, Evangelist Terrance D. and I want to thank Mr. Vince Brook for taking his time to have a seat on the couch. We didn't give him too much of the flame this time. We was light on him. We didn't give him the flame. But you're welcome to come back at any time. You are now a friend, a family member of Raw and Redeemed. I want to give a big shout out to the funny man back there behind the camera, and also DJ Life. Without them, Raw and Redeemed will be just a vision. Listen, go on YouTube, like and subscribe the Raw and Redeemed brand, the Raw and Redeemed video, and we're also streaming. Remember, without God in your life, or putting God first, you will repeat the same steps over and over again. Please continue to pray.
Very true.
Please continue to keep your brother as your keeper. And again, I am your host, Evangelist Terrance D. and you have just been redeemed.